It's my Shroud of Turin. What about that in marker art? There's another one. Oh man, you're just burning, burning, burning. Your feet burn, your hands burn, your ears burn. So Sjogren's, you've never heard of it. I never had either until fairly recently. And if they tell you men don't get it, that's because men don't know to bring it up. They don't, we're not in our bodies enough to realize that your eyes should not feel like someone's been squirting habanero sauce into them, and that your tongue shouldn't feel like it's been wrapped in a turpentine rag. Oh, I could go on, but there's that's not even the worst of it. Sjogren's disease uh, kills your salivary glands. Any gland that produces moisture and distributes it in your body gets scarred up and doesn't function right. And you're in that's how you feel on the inside. That's what you're projecting. So these kind of goblin-y things came up, and I look at them now. I just thought they were me being kind of half-assed and too tired to do anything very involved. And of course, I think most creative people, if something comes really easily to you, you didn't have to think about it. You just assume that you're slacking, right? And that's usually the best stuff. The stuff you feel is like so derivative you didn't even think about it. But as time went on, the flare just kind of kept building and building, and it manifested as narcolepsy, as depression, as ADHD. I mean, all of which are real things. That because having this diagnosis perhaps is going to make the rest of my life a lot better than everything before it has been. Because your sense of your capabilities shift from day to day. So I'd really like to tell you, though, about how I came into this art thing. Well, I was in a relationship that broke up, and with an autoimmune disease, you cannot separate your mental, emotional, psycho-spiritual well-being from your physical. Trauma, when it's activated, if it hasn't been really dealt with, and even the just sort of remnants of the husks of a trauma can really be, they can just come back to life like the husk of a cactus that after the first rain. And I was overcome by a malaise that was not unfamiliar to me, but it hit me with an impact that I hadn't experienced before. And it affected not just my speech, but my ability to just keep my thoughts in one zip code. I could no longer write, which is how I made my living. The most alarming thing of all is that I just couldn't get anything going on with music. I just had lost it as I lost my taste for food. I was just hollowed out. And I don't think it's possible to say where one aspect of this began and another ended. So I go down to the art store, and there's a lady named Carol. And I just basically started sobbing and jabbering incoherently. And she sent me out the door with some Pentel oil pastels and a pad and whatever else. So I was taken up with art for a good couple of years. I could not write. I could not speak very fluidly. It was as if I had a stroke, I think. And this is the whole point of art. Why we do it. It's not to show other people. It's not to enrich the culture. We're repairing not only our own nervous system when we're making art, we're repairing the nervous system. So it wasn't just that I was making these pictures of how I felt without knowing it. I was in the bardo, that in-between stage that it's the in-between, birth and death. But you don't have to be physically dead to be in that it's dreamlike state of, no orientation. And, someone may well be called to creativity out of vainglory and wanting to be praised. Certainly was my that was my whole jam with it for a lot of my life. But at a certain point, your hunger for that external validation gets converted into a recognition that you're actually plugged into something that is it's a real grid, and you can plug into that grid and do something that is uniquely your own with it. And it doesn't matter what anybody says. So, of the collective consciousness, too. So, that's a little general talk about